For me, it was the ball pressure that speeds you up a little bit. And then when the pick and roll does come and they come out and blitz him and flood over like they were to begin with, the first thing was just how quickly he read it. I mean, the first play that happened, he just found Alperen in the pocket, and we played 4-on-3 behind it. He consistently made the right play. 5 defenders are flooding to his side of the floor. He kicks it to the weak side. There's ways to get even better, more accurate passes, better spacing behind it for him. But that's what Summer League's about, is getting the chance to get those reps at game speed and feel how we can execute things even better. But the approach was great. Yeah, just the professionalism, like his consistent approach, it doesn't change. And he takes what's there, he makes the right pass. Again, I highlighted this last time, but both Jalen and Alperen's experience at the professional level already just brings a totally different dynamic to, this isn't their first 2 professional games. It's not they played dozens of professional games. And the other guys are getting the chance to get some of those cobwebs and get the experience out early, but those 2 are ahead of the group. Well, I've been really impressed with Killian Hayes. I think he's a remarkably hard guy to cover, and Detroit ran unbelievable stuff to get both those guys in multiple actions before a pick and roll or an ISO. And so big credit to them. They're super hard to guard. I thought that when Justin Anderson came in the game and Anthony Lamb came in the game, it's always not what you do, it's how you do it. And those guys brought an intensity level that was slowed down and kind of got their actions a little muddier than what it looked like at the start when they were looking like the Harlem Globetrotters. So really proud of those 2 guys. The pressure that Detroit was trying to bring, the only way to beat that is through aggression. And Josh got plenty of that. So, yeah, he's big and fast and coordinated and unselfish, and that's a scary combination, especially when you got good space around him and you're coming at speed. So we're talking a lot about speed, space, and share. And if we can get those 3 things on most possessions, we're going to have good nights. We talked about it as a team. We don't leave anything unsaid. So we talked about the fact that the first time they threw it to Jalen and Cade's guarding him, the whole crowd was going to go, ooh. And that's a part of the maturity that we talk about with Jalen. He's just beyond his years in that way. So we're getting less and less, I guess, surprised by his maturity. And at this point, it's just an aspect of no wonder he's so good, right? Like, it's a big part of the kind of neck up traits that allow a young man like that to shine through the way he has.
We'll take a few questions from Zoom. Saman Ali.
With Josh Christopher specifically, did it surprise you at all that he's able to do what he does as a playmaker and a ball handler? Or did you see that early from him in practice?
Our first couple of practices it did. And then at that point, it's like, all right, how do we leverage this for the betterment of the group? We're not surprised anymore. I think Josh, clearly a unique kind of athlete. Like, you see the strength that he has on some of those finishes, and with both hands being able to attack the basket and complete those plays is unique. But the thing I like the best is just he seems composed when he gets into the paint. He had a nice kick out towards the end of the game that was huge. Maybe it was on an O-board or a drive. I can't remember. They leveled him off well, and he finds somebody else and creates a closeout or an open 3. It's a lovely tool to have in the toolbox for sure.
Ryan Bearfield.
Coach, can you talk about the adjustments that you made in the second quarter on defense to hold the Pistons to 15 points, and also how Jalen Green overcame 3 first quarter turnovers and ended the game with only 4? He started protecting the ball a little bit better.
Defensively, we have a very simple menu. We're not trying to overwhelm these guys with a bunch of schemes. So we're really focusing on how we're doing stuff. But we were able to do some things with matchups that allowed us to sort of anticipate switches and end up with the right people guarding toward the end of the clock. So credit to my staff, Rick Higgins, Ghana Jop, Will Dunn, all those guys help see the game before it happens and coach these guys up and coach me up. So those guys get credit for the strategy for the day.
Jackson Gatlin.
Coach, how do you think Jalen handled himself in this matchup, kind of being billed, number 1 pick, number 2 pick, and what did you see from him as this game progressed?
I saw him drive winning. I saw him pass the ball. That camera, John. Yeah. So I saw him pass the ball to open teammates when they blitzed him. I saw him consistently make the right play. And that's what it takes to play at the highest level. It's an unforgiving league. And so if you make a mistake and try to hold on to it for one extra dribble or creep out of the corner just because you want the ball a little too much, that's all the other team needs to punish you. So I'm continue to be really impressed with his approach.
Adam Spolin.
Will, are there specific areas of improvement that you've seen from KJ since the end of last season?
Sorry, man. I heard you say those specific areas, but then I couldn't hear you. Can you speak up?
Are there specific areas of improvement that you've seen from KJ since last season?
I think your question was about KJ.
Yeah.
So,
Specific areas of improvement since last season.
well, yeah. So I think shooting is the most salient thing that stands out. KJ's shooting has improved a lot. The work that Robbie Keck, John Lucas, and KJ gets the credit for putting in the hard yards to improve his shot. I think that stands out as probably pretty obvious to everybody. But you see some of the playmaking he's doing for others. He's a very strong driver. Obviously, the ability to jump like he can means people have to meet him super early, and you get the defense in rotation early. He's doing a really nice job passing with both hands out of those driving kick situations. So we're trying to put him in as many of those situations as we can, and he's doing a great job of getting those reps and completing those reps.
Michael Shapiro.
Hey, Coach. Another strong night for Alperen tonight. What about his skill set offensively has impressed you the most?
I think the way he lets the game come to him, he certainly is a problem on the block, and he's got the confidence and the ability to punish those matchups in the post. But you see in a lot of guys, especially in their first few games with a new team and a new country and the excitement that must be going on in him, to not just run down there every time and stamp his foot and beg for the ball. He's a great screener. He's moving it quickly onto the second side to make the defense move. And his commitment to the O boards is beyond special. So overall game from him on the offensive end. And best of all, the fact that he's really focused on improving as a defender, which is what he's going to need to do to be able to have the kind of career that we all dream for him to have.
Thank you.
And last question, Danielle Lerner.
What did you think of the ball movement tonight?
I thought it was good. There was a few times where we slowed down a bit because of the pressure. We got a little stagnant, and we'll talk a little bit more about moving it early and trusting it that it will come back to you. But overall, we have a very unselfish group, and we ended up, I think, playing, 9 guys really the bulk of the game, and running and kicking it ahead at every opportunity. You don't see that from a lot of young guys being willing to get off it and get the ball up in transition. But in the half court, I feel like we've got some room to grow in our ability and willingness to move it before the defense can really sort of set themselves into our